understand bank bonds in 5 minutes. There are different types of organizations that offer different type of bonds. For example, corporate bonds are offered by large companies and municipal bonds are issued by municipalities. In today's video, we will talk and learn about something new but somewhat familiar, bank bonds. But before that, hey, this is Jalak and I welcome you all to our knowledge series by SMEST Discover, where you can get smart about investing. As the name suggests, bank bonds are bonds that are issued by bank. Bank bonds basically are debt securities which are issued by the banks in India to raise capital from investor. These bonds promise to pay back the debt plus interest to the bondholders at a predetermined date, which is usually several years. Technically, the banking industry is one of the safest and the most regulated industries, and the banks need to follow the Basel III norms, which is a global financial regulatory framework. Any guesses? What is the governing body for the banks and other financial institutions? Yes, you guessed it right. It's the RBI. In India, the banks are governed by strict and sound regulations under the Banking Regulation Act 1949. Most of the banks are also majority owned by the government and come under the supervision and regulatory framework of the apex bank of the country, which is the Reserve Bank of India. Moving on to the bank bonds. Bank bonds classification and nomenclature may vary across countries and region, but the basic principle remains the same. In general, bank bonds are classified into three tiers. Let's start with the Tier 3 bonds. Tier 3 or bank senior bonds are the most senior bonds and have the lowest of subordination. Tier 3 bonds are issued for a minimum of 7 years, and the bank senior bonds are unsecured and do not have any put or call options and have a single maturity date. Tier 2 bonds. Tier 2 bonds are subordinated to Tier 1 bonds and usually pay a higher rate interest than the Tier 3 bonds. Tier 2 bonds are unsecured and issued for minimum period of 5 years. The most important difference of a bank Tier 2 bond from the bank Tier 3 bond is its loss absorption feature. For example, if a bank is approaching or has approached a point of non-viability, then RBI can write off the principal amount outstanding on Tier 2 bonds. Point of non-viability is a situation where a bank experiences serious financial stress due to insufficient liquidity and or capital, triggering seizure and resolution by the regulator. Next up is the Tier 1 bonds or the AT1 bonds, also known as additional Tier 1 bonds. These are most junior bonds and have the highest level of subordination. Tier 1 bonds are usually issued as perpetual bonds and are designed to absorb losses in case of financial distress or insolvency. The loss absorption feature of bank AT1 bonds go even a step further than the bank Tier 2 bonds. These bonds have no put option and a minimum of 5 years of call option that can be exercised only after the RBI's approval. RBI can write off the entire AT1 bond if the bank has approached a point of non-viability. Also, the interest payment of AT1 bond is non-cumulative in nature. That is, if missed, then it cannot be reclaimed in future. This classification of bank bonds into different tiers is important for the investors to understand as it affects their level of risk and return associated to each tier. Let me share some of the benefits of investing in the bank bonds. Number 1. Better investment option than fixed deposit. The advantage of investing in bonds over an FD issued by the same bank is that the returns on these bonds are greater than the rates of bank FDs. Number 2. Less risky than equity. Bond prices are less volatile than equity. Hence, this can help you earn fixed and predictable returns and diversify your portfolio. Number 3. Safety. The bank bonds are reliable and safe, and RBI regulates the bank and regularly inspects them for safety. Always, while purchasing bank bonds, the investors should carefully assess their seniority, their risk tolerance, and their personal investment goals. This would not only help reduce the risk involved, but also reap better profits. Well, I hope this video gave you a good understanding of bank bonds and you are better equipped to invest smartly. Visit SMEST.in and take the next step towards investing wisely. Stay tuned for many more exciting lessons coming your way. But before signing off, always remember, investment in debt securities are subject to market risk. Read all the offer related documents carefully. For any queries on this module, please leave a comment below. See you in the next video.